Hello guys, good to see you back. Once again, I am back with a new project related animation. And today in this project, we are going to build, and in this project, we are going to create this nice menu hover effect. So when I hover my cursor in this menu items, as you can see, at first the color of this link becomes semi-transparent, and after that, small text came together and create this glowing effect. So this is what we are going to build today. So let's start the practical and see how we can create it. But before we start our coding, let me introduce you something. This project is part of this course, CSS and Web Animation. If you want to learn CSS, SVG, JavaScript and GSAP animation in a single course, then this course is for you. These courses come with 24 hours on-demand video, 194 downloadable resources and lifetime access. It is the new, fresh and organized course on Udemy about CSS animation. This course will come with 14 different sections. Here we are going to learn transition-based animation projects, CSS keyframe-based animation projects, JavaScript DOM-based animation projects, SVG animation projects, GSAP animation projects. Also, we are going to learn all the basic about it. It is the most complete course about CSS animation, and till today it's come with more than 60 plus projects. If you are interested to learn, I will provide the link at my description. So let's get started. So as you can see, side by side, I open my Visual Studio Code editor and my browser using Liveserver extension, and I already create an HTML document named index.html. With that, I create style.css file and I link this file with this document. Now inside the body tag, first I'm going to take a section tag, section. Now inside the section tag, I'm going to take unordered list, UL. Then I'm going to take a list item, LI. Next inside the LI tag, here I'm going to take a anchor tag and I'm going to assign data text attribute, data text. Data text equal to hem type home, and inside it I'm going to type, inside the anchor tag I'm going to type home also. After that I'm going to save this file. After save this file, at the same way I'm going to create another menu items. So I duplicate this line multiple times. This is for about. Also I'm going to change the data text about, and this one is for services. Also we need to make changes in data text, and the last one is for portfolio. Then next I'm going to duplicate this section again, and this one is for contact, and I'm going to save this file. After that, let's jump into the CSS file and start styling. Style.css. First I'm going to import a text. Here I'm going to use popping text from Google Fonts, and I'm going to save this file. After that I'm going to use universal selector star. Then inside the curly braces, first I'm going to assign margin, and I'm going to use 0. So I'm going to remove margin from all of the direction, and padding also 0. Then box sizing, border box, and font family, I'm going to use Poppins, and it's come from sans serif font family. We need to move it inside the double quotes, and I'm going to set this file. After set this file, this is how our text look like. Next I'm going to style this section tag. So I'm going to type section inside the curly braces. First I'm going to define position, and I'm going to make it relative. After that I'm going to define width and height. Width, here I'm going to assign width 100%. Height, here I'm going to assign height 100 VH. After that I'm going to assign display, and I'm going to make it flex. Justify content, center. Also align item, center. Basically it's going to align the items middle of this page vertically and horizontally. After that I'm going to make overflow, I'm going to make it hidden. Then I'm going to set a background color, background. I want to use dark gray background, this color code. And I'm going to save this file. After save this file, this is where we place the element and our background look like that. After that, I'm going to remove the dots from this list items. So I'm going to target the li tag ai, then inside the curly braces, the property I'm going to use list style, list style, and I'm going to make it none. And I'm going to save this file. After save this file, as you can see, it removed the list item dots. Then I'm going to target the anchor tag. I'm going to style the anchor tag. Here, first I'm going to define the position. Position, I'm going to make it related. Then I'm going to make it display block. Display, I'm going to make it block. After that, text decoration, I'm going to make it none, so it's going to remove the underline. Text align, here I'm going to make it center. Also, I'm going to convert this text into uppercase, so I'm going to type text transform uppercase. After that, I'm going to define font size. Font size, here I'm going to use 4em. Then I'm going to define color, and here I'm going to use white color, so I'm going to use hashtag FFF, fully visible white. After that, I want to use little bolder font, so I'm going to type font weight 700. Next, transition, I'm going to make it 0.5 second, and I'm going to save this file. After save this file, this is how our menu items look like. Now it's look much better. Now when I hover over this link, I want to make it semi-transparent. So I hover over this link, so I'm going to create the hover selector hover. Then inside the curly braces, I'm going to define the color, and here I'm going to use RGBA color, RGBA color. For red, I'm going to use 255. For green also I'm going to use 255. I want to use white color, so I use 255 value for all the colors. And for the alpha value, here I want to use transparent, so I'm going to pass 0.1. It's going to make it transparent, and I'm going to save this file. After save this file, when I hover my cursor on this text, you can see the result. Basically, when I hover on it, it's going to reduce the opacity. Now let's work on the small text. When I hover my cursor, I want to appear the small text. I want to appear it above the large text. For that, we need to use before pseudo element. So let's use the before pseudo element. So I will type anchor tag before. Then inside the curly braces, here we need to pass the content. Here we need to use the attribute, and I'm going to pass the data text. Basically, here we retrieve the data text from the data text attribute, which I use in our anchor tag, this one, and it's going to work for each of the link. And now we need to position it exact above the text. For that, I'm going to use position property, and I'm going to make it absolute. After that, for the top value, here I'm going to use 50%. And from the left, also I'm going to use 50%. Then I'm going to use transform property. Transform. Here I'm going to use translate value. Translate inside the round braces. Here I'm going to pass minus 50% from the x-axis, and from the y-axis minus 50%. Next, I'm going to assign a color, and here I'm going to assign kind of greenish color, so I'm going to type hashtag 3BFFA7, this color code, and I'm going to save this file. After save this file, this is how it's look like. Now the green text is covering the links, and now I'm going to reduce the font size. So I'm going to type font size. Here I'm going to use 0.4 em. and I'm going to save this file. Then I'm going to add some letter spacing. So here I'm going to type letter spacing, I'm going to pass nearly 40 pixel. I think it's enough for it. Yeah, it's enough for now. Let me show. Now all the character separate from each other. We have 40 pixel gap between them. And the next property I'm going to use text shadow. Text shadow, here I'm going to use this way. This is the position of this text shadow and this is the blurriness of this text shadow. And this is the spread value of this text shadow. And this is the color of the shadow. And I'm going to save this file. So this is how it growing the text. Next I'm going to reduce the font weight. Here I'm going to type font weight, here I'm going to use 500 value, 500. Little lighter font. Next I'm going to use opacity. And here I'm going to set the opacity 0. So by default it's going to hide this text. And then I'm going to use transition property. Transition, I'm going to make it 0.5 second. And I'm going to save this file. Basically, here I increase the blur value every time. First I make it 10 pixel, then I make it 30, and last I make it 80. Next, when I hover over this list item, so li:hover, then I want to target the before pseudo element a before, and then again I want to visible the text. So I'm going to set opacity. 1, and also I'm going to reduce the letter spacing. I'm going to make it 6 pixel, and I'm going to set this file. After set this file, when I hover my cursor on this text, now you can see the beautiful effect. Now you can see all the letters come together. It reduces the distance between the letters when I hover on it and create a beautiful effect. At first the big text fade away and then the small text come together. Now the problem is when I hover my cursor on that link, at the same time it fade away and the small text come together. But I don't want that. I want little delay between them. For that we need to jump into the anchor tag, and here we need to use transition delay. And I want 0.5 second delay, and I want to save this file. Also when I hover over on it, then I want transition delay, this time I want 0. Also we need to add transition delay in our before pseudo element. So here I'm going to type transition delay, I'm going to use 0.5 second. Now after set this file, when I hover my cursor on these elements, this is what the result we are going to looking for. Now I create this beautiful mini hover transition effect. I hope now it's clear for you how we can create it. So thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for our next project.